Trevor, and this is Andrew, the president of QualityConnect.ca, and we're here today to talk about how to properly vet a trade. Here's a quote from W. Edwards Deming: "Quality is everyone's responsibility." Now here's a fun fact: Americans tell an average of 15 people about poor service experiences versus the 11 people they tell about a good experience. So Andrew, with that, why don't you tell us a little bit about the topic today?
How about vetting a trade?
Yeah.
Vetting a trade is very specific to the builder. Different people put different weights on different aspects of a trade. Certain people will overlook certain aspects as a builder, and some people they won't compromise on other aspects. So it's very specific to the builder as to what constitutes a good trade.
Okay, great. So is there a strict set of guidelines that you go by when you're hiring a trade, or how does that work out?
Personally, I look for something different than what other people might look for.
Okay.
But as for what you won't bend on are the legal requirements. Like, they should have WCB. They need to have WCB. If they do not have WCB on your site, then you're on the hook for it. You're on the hook for any incidences, anything like that. And that should also be a red flag. If somebody can't get a WCB clearance, it means they're not operating properly. And you probably don't want them on your site anyways. So that's a big thing that I look for. Liability insurance is huge.
Okay.
You're hardly ever building a house now under $500,000 just for general land value and sale. Like, it's not, that's not an unheard of number.
Yeah.
So you should have someone that can cover that. So you don't want that on your insurance. You want that on somebody else's if there's negligence or anything like that. So you should look for liability insurance. And those are the two main ones that I look for. I also look for a business license. So they are a licensed and legal company. Certain things that I don't look for, that I don't personally put a lot of stock in, is reviews that can't be backed up.
Okay.
I think if you can give me a whole bunch of Better Business Bureau reviews or Google ad reviews, I don't have a way to verify that sort of work. So I do look at it, but I don't put a large stake in it as much as I can going and talking to a builder that you've worked for in the past.
Right. Very cool. So I know we talked about this in the past, but what are the benefits of larger companies versus smaller ones when it comes to vetting for a building project?
It's usually easier to vet a larger company. They have office staff that will put a core policy, which is a safety or a safety certification, or a C-Corp, which is a smaller employee safety organization recognition, which is what it stands for, into place. So it's easier to vet a larger company. They usually have that kind of paperwork on hand. They're usually a lot more organized on the paperwork aspect. So to get that kind of stuff, it's easier to get as opposed to a smaller company. But then it's also their ability to back up their work. Everyone has something that's gone wrong at some point. Nobody's perfect. If you've been in business for a while, you're going to have hiccups, and it's how you deal with those that set you apart from other companies. And the benefit of a larger company is if they take a large financial hit, they can usually recover from it. A lot of smaller companies, unfortunately, if they take a large financial hit, they have to fold. They just can't recover from it. No matter how much they want to or how hard they try, they can't recover from it. So that's the benefit of a larger company, is they usually have deeper pockets to cover if, worst case scenario, something bad happens.
Okay, great. Now, do you do any online reviews of the companies that you hire?
I do a quick review just to see. I look at it more as on the extreme. Like, if they have 20 reviews and 19 horrible reviews, then yeah, you don't want to put a lot of stock into that. But if they've got 20 reviews and they've got a couple bad ones, it means they're human and they've made some mistakes. What I want to know, and what you can't get out of a review like that, is how they dealt with the situation, and what the complaint was. Some people put unrealistic, I don't even know the word,
Expectations
on trades. Yeah, where they'll be disgusted that the cribber will show up in sweatpants and hasn't shaved or possibly showered that week, and it's a Friday. And they'll write a bad review on the cribber for that.
Right.
And you know what? If that was my accountant, I would write a horrible review on it too. If that was my cribber and I got some amazing concrete work out of it, I would give that guy a great review, and I would work with him again in the past.
Right.
Or
Awesome.
sorry, in the future.
So, who are the best people to talk to get honest feedback on a company?
On a company, I would say the site supervisor of the last builder that they worked for.
Okay.
They're the ones that are going to be working hands-on with the trade. The office staff just sort of sees purchase orders come and go, quotes and invoices come and go, and it is important to work with a company that is diligent and has their paperwork in line and in effect. But personally, I find the work on site to be a more important aspect to a trade.
Okay.
And so I would talk to the site supervisor who hired that trade before to make sure that they were, they did the work that they were supposed to. They were, they showed up when they said they were going to show up. Quality was good. If there was any issues, they called them back. They came back to solve the problems, which is what I would be looking for. If they were unable to get a clear invoice and it came through in crayon, I would work with someone that had great quality and submitted an invoice in crayon, even though my accountant would lose her mind having to deal with that. So that's what I would look for, and that's why I would talk to the site supervisor as opposed to the HR or the administrative staff when it comes to working with the trade.
Okay. So, how important is solvency in a company that you hire?
I believe it is.
Okay.
I believe ability, obviously, a warranty is only as good as the company that's backing it, and if the
Right.
company that's backing it is going to fold soon, then your warranty is basically worthless. So
Right.
I would look at a company as solvent, that they've been around for a while, that they pay their bills, that they have, they have staff that's been around for a while and been with them for a while.
Okay.
Because then you know that hopefully they're going to be around a while to warranty any issues
Yeah.
and solve any problems you're going to have down the road.
Awesome. That's a great tip that everybody should heed. So, is it worth doing a quality check on past projects that a company has completed?
I would say yes. I would say yes for anything that, for a dollar amount that you're not willing to walk away from.
Okay.
If you're looking for someone to do some touch-up paint work and it's only going to be a couple $100, personally, I wouldn't spend my time checking references for a project or a contract that's only a couple $100. But if it's going to be $10,000 and up, and then I would make sure that the work there is done, because I don't want to have to pay $10,000 or more to get another trade in to fix what was done or complete what was incomplete.
Okay. Now, even after doing all of your due diligence on a company, is there any other ways to protect yourself?
You can do a lien holdback. That's where you hold back 10% of the contract, but that is something you want to clearly discuss with the trade prior to hiring them, prior to signing any contract. That's not something you want to pull on a trade at the end of the job, and by the way, we're going to hold 10% of your contract back. Because a lot of companies, smaller companies, rely on that for payroll, for expenses, for supplies and stuff like that, and that's not something you want to pull on them. Also, I don't believe that that's a way to ensure quality.
Right.
That's a way to ensure that the trades come back if there is a little bit of an issue. But if they do shoddy quality, 10% isn't going to get the job fixed or redone. You're still going to be eating a lot, and I don't believe that that's a way to ensure someone does a quality job by telling them that you're going to hold 10% back.
Right. So, what do you do if you find out you've hired a subpar trade and they're halfway through?
The first thing to do is stop and have a chat with them. A lot of the issues could be solved by a lack of communication.
Okay.
What you're expecting from them is not what their understanding is.
Okay.
Your contract might not be clear, your goals, it just might not be clear to the trade what you're expecting. So that's the first thing. I would stop and I'd have a conversation with them and say, look, this isn't really what we were looking for. We were looking for more of this, this, and this, and it might be just that simple. And then I say, oh, okay, our understanding was you wanted this, and it could be solved very easily. A lot of the times your contract wasn't clear. You might end up having to pay a bit more because you didn't plan properly in the start. You didn't have a clear and concise contract that explained exactly what your specifications were on the build.
Okay.
Worst case scenario, if it does come down to shoddy work, and you don't believe that the trade you've hired can complete the job, I would stop right there and I would bring in a couple other companies of the same trade to take a look and take their opinions. Can this be solved? How much is this going to cost for me to get somebody in here that knows what they're doing, that can complete the job properly, that can fix any issues that have been done up to there? And then it's basically up to you. Do you want to eat the cost of the trade that you've got, and hire somebody else, or do you want to try and chance it with them that they can pull up their socks and finish the work?
Right. So it sounds like really doing the work and proper vetting will help prevent these problems, but in the event that they were able to hide some things from you, you have some recourse on fixing that.
Yeah, and that comes up to constant supervision of your site. Is making sure that everything's going smoothly, everything's going well, and the quality is going well. Is so that if you run into this situation, you can hopefully catch it soon enough that it hasn't become a major problem yet.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Andrew. That was very informative. And if you guys want to see more from Andrew and Quality Connect, just subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we will see you guys later. Thanks.